Hi everyone, this is Vaishali, and today we are going to discuss the board paper which took place today for applied mathematics. So let us start section by section, starting with the question one. Question one was we need to evaluate the expression minus 41 mod 9. So can I straight away write this down as, so basically we are looking at the remainder when minus 41 is being divided by 9. So I can write this down as minus of 45, then changing the signs, and I can see that the remainder is 4, so option B will be right. Then question 2 was if A is greater than B and C is less than 0, then which of the following is true? So we need to look at which of the following inequalities can be true. So what if I'm assuming that my A is 5, my B is 4, and my C is a negative of 1? So if I look at option D specifically, what is my A minus of C? It is coming down as 5 plus of 1, which is 6. And what is my B plus of C, which is 4 minus of 1? It is coming down as 3. So yes, indeed, my 6 is greater than 3. So option D is something which is satisfying the given set of values of A, B, and C. Now the next one is if A and B are symmetric matrices of the same order, so what can we comment on AB transpose minus BA transpose? So the dash that is being used here, it is nothing but the transpose operation that we make use of. So let us just apply. So we are given in this expression and looking at the transpose of this whole equation. So let us just open the bracket. This is AB transpose, then transpose minus BA transpose, and again a transpose over it. So by making use of the properties of transpose, I can write this down as B transpose transpose and A transpose minus of A transpose transpose and B transpose. So when we take transpose twice, it is nothing but my original matrix with which I have started with. So I'm having BA transpose minus of AB transpose. So can I just take negative common over here? So after comparing the equations with which I've started with, I can say that I'm getting something like this, right? So this is nothing but option D, which is skew-symmetric matrix. The next question is the inverse of the matrix A is, so we are given the matrix. So in short, what we can do is shuffle the diagonal elements and then I can just, yes. So I'm changing the signs along the other diagonal. And what is my determinant over here? My determinant of A is 4 plus 2, which is 6. So this is nothing but my inverse, right? So what we need to do is to just look at, I'm having 1 by 6 as the first element, which is option C. So I don't have to basically calculate for the rest of the elements. Now the next question is based on matrices. So I'm having that the determinant of two matrices is equal. So let us just calculate for the first one. I'm having 2 of x square minus of 20 is equal to 18 minus of 20. So solving this down, I'm having 2 of x square is equal to minus of 2 plus of 20, which is nothing but 18. And x square is 9. So x is coming down as plus minus of 3, which is option D over here. The slope of the normal to the curve. So we are given the curve and we need to calculate the slope basically of the normal. So let us just calculate what is my dy by dx. So I'm differentiating by making use of the quotient rule. Derivative of the numerator multiplied by the denominator minus derivative of the denominator multiplied by the numerator. So this is whole square. But this is the slope of the tangent. And what can we say about for that of a normal? It is nothing but negative of this, negative reciprocal. So I'm just simplifying the expression. I can cancel out my x. And what I'm having is a negative 1 in the denominator, right? I'm canceling out that negative sign as well. So what I'm basically left with is x minus of 4 whole square, but we need to calculate it at x is equal to 6. So let us just substitute that value, 2 square, which is 4 over here. So option A is the right one. The rate of change of population with respect to time, where alpha and beta are the constant birth and death rates respectively. So which of the following is true? So population is definitely directly proportional to the population, but now we are just considering the constant as the birth minus the death rate. So option B is the correct one. A pair of dice is thrown two times if X represents the number of doublets obtained. So what is the expectation of X? So what do we have here is how many times am I throwing the die? Twice. And sort of what we need to focus on is the number of doublets. So can I say that I can make use of the concept of binomial distribution over here, where the success is getting a doublet? So in the given 36 data sets that we have, I'm getting six sets of pairs as the doublets, right? So this will be 6 by 36, which is 1 by 6 as the probability of success, right? And by making use of the property of binomial distribution, which is mean is equal to NP. So what I'm getting 2 into 1 by 6, which is 1 by 3 as the answer, which is option C. The mean distribution, the mean of t distribution is always 0. So this is just by the definition. The variations which occur due to change in climate, festival, or weather are something called as the seasonal variations, because all of these are nothing but the seasonal changes that is taking place in the market. In LPP, the maximum value, we are given the objective function over here, and the constraints are x plus y is equal to 40, x plus 2y is equal to 60. So I'm basically converting them with the equality sign. So if we were to plot this down, what am I getting? I'm getting, this is my 40, 40. So one of the line is basically passing through the 0, comma 40 and 40, comma 0. The next one is the second equation. What if I'm assuming x as 0, then I'm having something over here 30. And what if I'm assuming y as 0, I'm getting 60. So the second constraint will pass something over like this, right? And the common region that we have, feasible region, basically, this would be over here. So what are the basically corner points that we have is 0, comma 30. And if you will just calculate this intersection by making use of the elimination method itself, you will get 20, comma 20 as the intersection, point of intersection. And the other one is 40, comma 0. So what we need to do is just calculate the value of the objective function at these points. So what is the objective function? 3x plus of 4y. So add this value where x is 0 and y is 30, I'm getting 120. At 20, comma 20, I'm getting 140. And at 40, comma 0, I'm getting 120. So because we need to look at the maximum value for the objective function, 140 is the highest one. So option B is the right one. The present value of a sequence of payments of 100 rupees made at the end of every year and continuing forever. So this is a perpetuity based question. And what is the amount that is being transferred on an every year basis is 100. If the money is worth 5% compounded annually, so we are just making use of the respective formula because this transaction is taking place at the end. The formula is R by I, right? So what is the amount? Yes, R is the amount that is transferring, which is 100, and I is 5%. So I'll just write this down as 5 by 100. So what I'm left with is 2000 as the answer. So this is the present value for this given scenario. The demand function of a monopolist is given by P, where X is the number of units demanded and P is the price. So the marginal revenue when 2 units are sold. So whenever we are given the demand, the revenue function can be calculated as the product of the demand function and the number of units. So I can just write this down as X multiplied by my function. So let us just solve this further. This is 5x squared minus of 3x cubed. So we have got the function, which is the revenue function. Now marginal revenue is nothing but the derivative of my revenue function, marginal revenue, I mean. So I'm having 30 plus of 10x minus of 9x square. Now we need to calculate the same at x is equal to 2 over here. So let us just substitute the value and see what are we getting. If you will solve this further down, you will get 14 as the answer, that is upon substituting x as 2. So this is the answer for question 30. If the cost function and the revenue function are given respectively as Cx and Rx, so the value of x for maximum profit is. So the profit function is always the difference between the revenue and the cost function. If I were to substitute the respective functions, what am I getting? So as a result, I'm getting 3x minus of 100 minus of 0.015 x square. So this is the profit function that I'm having, but we need to look at the maximum profit. So let us just calculate the derivative of this. 3 minus of 0.030x. Yes. So let us just equate it to 0. After solving this down, what is the answer that I'm getting? If you will solve this further down, you will get 100 as the answer. Yes. So option B is the correct one. So basically, the number of units for which we are getting the maximum profit is 100. If a random variable x has probability distribution, so we are given this function over here and we need to look at the value of k. So let us just make this small table for a better understanding. The value of x can be 0, 1 or 2. Otherwise, we are not considered because anyways the probability is 0 for that. So for x it is k, for 1 it is 2k, for 2 also it is 2k. So we are having this probability distribution as of this question is considered. Now for calculating the value of k, it is a known property that the sum of the probabilities is always 1. So what I'm having is k plus 2k is 1. So this is what 5 of k is equal to 1 and k is coming down as 1 by 5, which is option B. The test statistic T for testing the significance of the differences between the means of two independent sample, it is a known formula, which is option B. This is the correct one. The effective rate of interest equivalent to the nominal rate of 4% compounded semi-annually. So effective rate of interest is equivalent to 1 plus the nominal rate of interest in the period that we are considering with a negative of 1. So this is equivalent to 1 plus 4%. And because we are doing it on a semi-annual basis, I'll just write the value of m as 2. And this is a minus of 1. So what I'm having is, let us just cancel this down as 0.02 to the power of 2 minus of 1. And what I'm having is 1.02 whole square minus of 1. So what we need to do is to solve this further down. So what I'm getting is, so this is coming down as 0.0404. Now we can multiply this with 100 to get the answer in percentages. So this is 0.04 percentage, which is option B. The CAGR of an investment whose starting value is 5,000, whose ending value is 25,000, and the number of years for which the investment is taking place is 4 years. So how do I calculate the CAGR? So for CAGR, the formula is ending value divided by the starting value to the power of 1 by n minus of 1. So what do I have? The ending value is 25,000. The starting value is 5,000 to the power of 1 by 4 because the number of years is 4 minus of 1. It is given to us that the value is 1.4953 minus of 1, or I can write this down as 0.4953. Now in percentages, I need to multiply this with 100. So what I'm getting is 49.53 percentage, which is option A. Now we have the assertion reason based question. The area of the region bounded by the line, I'm having the equation y minus of 1 is equal to x, or y is equal to x plus 1. So in between the ordinates, x is equal to minus 1 and 1. So let us just calculate the area. So area is being related to the integration of the function. So let us just write this down as the integral of the function. So what is my y? It is x plus 1 dx. So this is x square by 2 plus of x, and the limits are -1 to 1. So what I'm getting is 1 by 2 plus of 1 minus 1 by 2 minus of 1. So 1 by 2 is getting cancelled and 2 is the answer. So assertion is true that yes, indeed, the area that we are getting is 2. And the reason is also true because somehow I was relating area with the concept of integration, right? Where the lower limit is -1 and the upper limit is 1. So A and R are true, and R is indeed the reason for A. The next question is the differential equation representing the family of curves is this. Okay. So what if I'm considering the derivative of, so we are given the equation, which is the equation of a straight line. So dy by dx is equal to m, right? Yes, so this is nothing but the slope that I am having. And what if I'm now considering the second equation, which is x of dy by dx is equal to y, and dy by y is equal to dx by x. So if you will just solve this by applying the concept of variable separable, you will get log of y is equal to log of x plus, I'm assuming the constant to be log of c. So this would be y is equal to xc, right? So yes, if either way I'm looking at from the point of view of the family of curves or the differential equation itself, both mean the same. So assertion is true. And what is my reason? The reason is the differential equation is obtained by differentiating the equation for the family of curves with respect to x. Yes, and then eliminating the arbitrary constant. So as we can see that we got the arbitrary constant as dy by dx, so we can substitute that down in this equation. So my m is dy by dx multiplied by x, and that is something which is getting me the same equation. Hence A is true and R is true, and R is the reason of A. Now coming down to the next section, which is section B, the question 21 is the cost of type 1 sugar is 25. So I'm just writing this down as type 1 and type 2. So type 1 is 25 per kg and the type 2 is 35 rupees per kg. So we don't know the price of the resultant mixture, but we know in which ratio we are mixing it. So the ratio is 3:2. So what is the price of the mixture? So we can just straight away make use of the formula that if I'm assuming the cost of the mixture to be m, so 35 minus of m divided by m minus of 25. So this should give me the ratio in which we are basically mixing them up. So let us just multiply this down now. So this is equal to 3 multiplied by n minus of 25. So this is 70 minus of 2m is equal to 3m minus of 75. So I'm getting 5 of m is equal to 145 or m as 29. So m is equivalent to 29, which is nothing but the price of the resultant mixture. Now the next one is pipe A can fill a tank in 1 hour. So pipe A can fill in 1 hour, or I can say that it can fill 1 by 1th part of the tank, right? And pipe B can fill the given tank in 1.5 hours, or I can write this down as 3 by 2 hours, or I can say 1.5 hours. But I'll just keep this in fraction, or I can say that it can fill 2 by 3rd of the part of the tank. Now both the pipes are opened in the empty tank, so how much time will it take to fill? So just add the two. I'm getting 1 plus of 2 by 3. What are we getting? I'm getting 5 by 3 as the sum, right? So this is the part of the tank that is being filled by both in 1 hour. So how much will it take? 3 by 5th of the hour, right? So this is a fraction, but let us just convert this into minutes. So I can basically multiply with 60. So what I'm getting, 3 multiplied by 12 is equivalent to 36 minutes. So 36 minutes is taken by pipe A and B if they're working together. So this is something I've just written down in as a rough calculation. So 36 is the answer. A boat goes 3.5 kilometer upstream and then returns. The total time taken is 1 hour and 12 minutes. So if the speed of the current is 1 kilometer, then the speed of the boat in still water is. So we are making use of the concept of upstream and downstream. So we are given that this distance is same, whether I'm going upstream or downstream. The distance is same, right? But in the case of upstream, we have the bit sign in between the speeds as negative, and in downstream, the speeds get added up, right? So what if I'm assuming x as the speed of boat in still water? What am I getting? I'm getting that while I'm going upstream and downstream, the total time taken is 1. So it means speed is equal to distance upon time, and time is distance upon speed, right? So distance upon speed for the upstream case and for downstream case when added should give me 1 hour and 12 minutes. So the distance is same. In the case of upstream, it is x minus of 1 plus 3.5. In the case of downstream, it is x plus of 1. How can I write 1 hour 12 minutes? Can I write this down as 1 hour in converting the other factor into r as well? This is r, sorry. So what I'm getting is 1 and 1 by 5th. So I can write this down as 6 by 5 as a fraction, right? So the sum is equivalent to 6 by 5. So what you need to do is just solve the expression. So if you will solve the expression, you will get the equation as 6 of x square minus of 35x minus of 6 is equal to 0. And if you will just look at the positive value of x, it will come down as the 6 kilometer per hour. So this is nothing but the speed of the boat in still water. A runs 3 by 2 times as fast as B. So if A gives B a start of 40 meters, so how far must the winning post from the starting point be if they reach at the same time? So if the ratio is 3 to 2, it means that if A is covering 3 meter, B is covering 2 meter. So it means that A is ahead of 1 meter, right? So if I were to consider the fact that A has given B a start of 40 meter, so what does this mean? So it means that if I were to consider 4 into 40 in total, 120 meters is the distance that basically, yes. So 120 is the distance if I'm considering the scenario. Now the next one is, I'm given two matrices A and B and we need to calculate the product BA. Okay, so let us just write down the matrix B. This is minus of 5, and 4. And my matrix A is 2, 0, 1, 0, 2, and 3. So let us just apply the operation. I'm having 2 plus of 3. The next one is 4 minus of 10. Then I'm having 1 plus of 5 minus of 15. So this is my first row. The next one is minus of 10 plus of 3. Then 4 minus of 10. And then minus of 5 plus of 5 minus of 15. The last row is 2 minus of 6. Then I'm having minus of 8 plus of 8 and 1 minus of 10 plus of 12. So if you will solve this, you will get 5 minus of 6. This is minus of 9 and minus of 7. This is minus of 4, 0, and 3. Yes. So this is the product BA. If a fair coin is tossed 6 times, find the probability of getting at least 4 hits. So in this question, we will make use of the concept of binomial distribution, where the number of trials is 6. The probability of success, considering that we are looking at the number of heads, it is 1 by 2. And for that failure, that is the probability of getting tails is 1 by 2 again. So we need to look at the probability where I'm having greater than 4, at least 4. So can I write this down as 1 minus of the probability of getting heads as less than 4, right? So how will I write this down? P of x is equal to 0 plus P of x is equal to 1 plus P of x is equal to 2 plus P of x is equal to 3. So this is what we have. So for x is equal to 0, I will make use of the formula of binomial distribution, which is NCR, P to the power of R and Q to the power of N minus of R. So what are we having is N is 6, P 0, 1 by 2 to the power of 0 and 1 by 2 to the power of 6. And similarly, I'm just moving down to the next one, which is probability when I'm getting single head, 6C1, 1 by 2 to the power of 1 and 1 by 2 to the power of 5. Then 6C2, this is 1 by 2 to the power of 2 and this is to the power of 4. And the final one is 6C3, 1 by 2 to the power of 3 and 1 by 2 to the power of 3. So we need to solve this down. 6C0 is my 1. So what we are having is 1 by 2 to the power of 6. 6C1 is 6 and 1 by 2 to the power of 6 plus 6C2 is 15 and the power is same for all of them, and 6C3 is 20, 1 by 2 to the power of 6. So I can take 1 by 2 to the power of 6 common over here. So what I'm getting is 1 minus of, and if I'm adding 1 plus 6 plus of 15 plus of 20, I'm getting 42. So this is 1 minus of 42 by 64, or I can simplify this down as 22 by 64. So this is the probability of getting at least 4 hits. Now the next question is, given that mean of normal variate x is 9 and the standard deviation is 3, then the z-score. So this is something related to the z-score, and we are having the formula as the data point minus the mean of the normal variate, and the denominator is the standard deviation. So we need to calculate the z-score if the data point is 15. So this is 15 minus of 9 divided by 3. So what are we getting after substitution? Yes, so this is it. 2 is the answer for part 1. And for the second one, we need to tell the data point if the z-score is given now, which is 4. So the data point we don't know, and we can take 3 to the other side. So this is 12 is equal to x minus of 9, or this is 21. So data point is 21. So find the units digit in this 7 to the power of 295. So whenever we are dealing with unit digit, it means that we are interested in looking at the remainder when I'm basically applying the mod 10 operation. So what is 7 mod 10? It is 3. 7 square mod 10, which is nothing but 49 mod 10. It is what? It is 9. The remainder is 9. 7 cube mod 10 is 343 mod 10, or the remainder is 3. Yes. And 7 to the power 4 mod 10. In this scenario, we will get the remainder as 1. So it means that I need to just look at the multiples of 4 such that I can get as near to 295. So this would be 7 to the power of 4 multiplied by 73, and I'm left with 3 sevens. So this is what we can do. So this is what? 7 to the power of 4 mod 10 is 1. So this will be 1. And what we are left with is 7 to the power of 3 mod 10, and the remainder is 3. The numbers, two numbers are selected at random without replacement from the first 6 positive integers. So I'm having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we are assuming x as the variable which is denoting the smaller of the two numbers. So if I were to look at the two numbers, the sets of two numbers, I'm having 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, 1 comma 4, 1 comma 5, and 1 comma 6. The next one is 2 comma 3, 2 comma 4, 2 comma 6, 3 comma 4, 3 comma 5, and 3 comma 6, and 4 comma 5, and 4 comma 6, and 5 comma 6. So these are the basically list of numbers when taken in pairs, right? Now, if I were to look at the first scenario, 1 is the smaller number when compared to 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. So how many numbers in support do I have? 5. And for 2, 2 is less than 4 numbers. 3 is less than 3 numbers. 4 is less than 2 numbers. And 5 is less than 1 number. So this is what we have as the table, right? Now, if I were to look at in terms of the probability for 1, how many elements do I have in the sample space? This whole thing is my sample space, right? So in totality, the sample space is having 15 possible outcomes. So for my x is equal to 1, it will be 5 by 15. For my x is equal to 2, the probability will be 4 by 15. For my x is equal to 3, it is 3 by 15. And for x is equal to 4, the probability is coming down as 2 by 15. And for x is equal to 5, it is 1 by 15. So now we need to calculate the mathematical expectation. So let us just do that. Now that we know the respective probabilities. So this is 1 into 5 by 15, 2 into 4 by 15, 4 into 2 by 15. Yes, then 5 into 1 by 15. So if you will solve this further, you will get 7 by 3 as the fractional value for my mathematical expectation. Now the next question is if mean and variance of binomial distribution. So mean for a binomial distribution is NP, which is 4 by 3, and NPQ is the variance for binomial distribution, which is 8 by 9. So what if I'm calculating the fractional value of the two, which is 4 by 3 divided by 8 by 9. So I'm getting 3 by 2 as my 1 by Q. The probability of failure is coming down as 2 by 3, and the probability of success will come down as 1 by 3. So we need to calculate for x is equal to 1. So the number of trials, yes. So what is the value of n? So n multiplied by, what if I'm substituting p as 1 by 3? N is coming down as 4. So 4C1, p to the power of 1 and q to the power of 3. So this is 4 multiplied by 8 divided by 81. So this is the probability for the other case. The next one, optional one, was the mortality rate for a certain disease is. So the probability is given down as 0.007. So we need to make use of the Poisson distribution and calculate the probability for 2 deaths in a group of 400 people. So I can make the use of the formula lambda is equal to NP. So N is 400 and P is 0.007. So this is coming down as 28. And we need to calculate the probability for 2 deaths. So P of X is equal to 2. So I'm making use of the formula e to the power of minus lambda, lambda to the power of k divided by k factorial. So on a similar line, let us just apply. This is 2.8. This is 2.8 over here. So this is e to the power of minus 2.8 and 2.8 to the power of 2 divided by 2 factorial. So you're given the value of exponential to the power of minus 2.8. So this is 0.0608 multiplied by, so if we'll just multiply with this value, you will get the answer as 0.2383, or I can just multiply this with 100 to get the probability as 23.83 percentages. The next question is, there are two types of fertilizers, F1 and F2. F1 consists of 10% nitrogen and 6% phosphoric acid, and F2 consists of 5% nitrogen and 10% phosphoric acid. So let us just make the equation first of all. Now, after testing the soil condition, a farmer finds that he needs at least 14 kg of nitrogen and 14 kg of phosphorus. So this is 10% of nitrogen of the type 1, which is F1, and in case of F2, it was 5% of nitrogen. And we need at least 14. So this is the first equation, or I can write this down as 10 of x plus 10 of y is greater than equal to 1400. Or this is 2x plus of y is greater than equal to 280 as my first equation. So this is with respect to the nitrogen. So what if I'm looking now at the phosphoric acid? I'm having 6% in the first one, plus of 10% in the second one, and at least I need how much? 14. Okay, so it is 14 again. So this is 6x plus of 10y greater than equal to 1400. If I'm reducing this down in the simplest form, I'm getting 3x plus of 5y is greater than equal to 700. So what if I am just plotting this down? Yes, first of all, we need to also mention that my x and y are greater than equal to 0. So these are the constraints which we make use of by default. So this is what we are basically getting as the common region if I'm plotting this down, and the corner points. The corner points are coming down as 0, 280, 100, 80, and the last one is, this is in fractions generally, but I'm considering in decimals. Now what we are looking at is the value of the objective function now. So at 0, 280, yes, what is my objective function? My objective function is that if F1 costs 6 rupees per kg and F2 is costing 5 per kg, what is the minimum cost? Okay. So my Z is 6 of x plus of 5 of y. So this is the objective function, and let us just substitute. I'm getting 1400 in the first case, then 1000 if I'm substituting 100 and 80. In the final one, I'm getting approximately 1400. So if we were to look at the value 1000, this is the minimum when compared to the other one. Hence, at 180, I'm getting a minimum of 1000. So this is the minimum cost as far as the question is considered. But now what we need to look at is, because the region is unbounded, so we will just plot this down as 6x plus 5y is less than 1000, and we will try to look, is there any other uh, minimum value less than 1000? So if you will just look at this, it will somehow pass. I'm not drawing it, this is a very rough graph, but this will not have any common region with the existing one. This would be somewhat over here, because it is not having any common point with the unbounded region, the region which we had now, just now. We will say that yes, Z has a minimum value which is of 1000. Now the next part is that we need to again solve the LPP problem graphically, where the objective function is given and the constraints are also given. So let us just plot this down. 2x plus of y is equal to 18 and 3x plus of 2y is equal to 34. So this is what we will get. Something, the graph will be like this. And if you were to look at the corner points, you will get something around. So this is my corner points, 0, 17, 2, 14, and 9, 0. So once we are aware about the corner points, we need to just calculate the respective values at these corner points. So for the objective function to be 50x plus of 30y, at the corner point 0, 17, I am getting 510. At 2, 14, I'm getting 520, and the final one is 450. But now we need to maximize the given objective function. Hence, maximum is 520, which is at the point 2, 14. Now the next question is, a mechanist is making engine parts with an axial diameter of 0.7. A random sample of 10 parts. 10 parts shows a mean diameter of 0.742. Okay. So what we are having now is the sample mean is given down as 0.742, and the value, the comparative mean that we have, also called as the mu naught, is 0.7, right? And the standard deviation is given down as 0.04, and we need to basically comment if we would say whether the work is inferior. Okay, so we need to calculate what we call it as the test statistic, where it is given down by x bar minus of the comparative mean divided by sigma and under root of n. So we are basically applying the two-tailed test over here because we are checking whether the mean is somewhat equal to 0.7 or not. So I'm having 0.742 minus of 0.7 divided by 0.04 divided by under root of 10. So this is somewhat around, if you are subtracting the 2 divided by 0.04, and you will get something around 3.32. But as per the rejection criteria, we are always starting with the assumption that what if the null hypothesis is being rejected, right? Now, by the two-tailed test, we have that the mod of T alpha, or the critical value, which is already given to us, this should be less than my T, which is the critical, yes, T test statistic. So let us just check what we have, 2.262. Is it less than 3.32? Yes, this is less than the given what we have got. Hence, we will reject the null hypothesis. Calculate EMI under flat rate method for a loan of 5 lakhs with 7.5 annual interest rate for 5 years. So we are using the flat rate method. So EMI using the flat rate method is P plus the interest rate, which is the simple interest that we are calculating, divided by the number of installments. So what is my I? P R T divided by N. Now just focus on the fact that while calculating the simple interest, we always consider it as the number of years, right? This is 100. So what is my principal amount? It is 5 lakhs. What is the interest rate? It is 7.5 divided by 100, and the number of years is 5. So if you will solve this, you will get around 1,87,500 as the interest. Now EMI is adding down the principal amount and the interest and dividing it with the number of installments now. Now, for 5 years, how many monthly installments do I have to make? It will be 60. So I'm dividing the sum with 60, and you will get around this value per month. So around 11,458.3 is the per month installment that you need to make as per the flat rate system. Now the next question is an inverse based question. Now we are given the matrix A and we need to calculate A inverse, hence solving the system of linear equation. Yes. So what we need to first of all look at is what is the formula of A inverse. It is 1 by the determinant of A and adjoint of A, right? So what is determinant of A? Let us calculate that. Minus of plus of 3. So I'm getting minus of 6 plus of 4 plus of 5 is 3 minus of 2. So if you will solve this down, you will get the answer as plus of 5. So the determinant is coming down as minus of 1. Now we need to calculate the adjoint matrix of A. So I'll just discuss the final set that we are getting in terms of the transpose. It is coming down as 0, 2, 1 and minus 1, minus of 9, minus of 5, 2, 23 and 13 with the transpose. So this is after considering all the, in terms of the cofactors and solving it down. Yes, and this is the final one in terms of transpose. So after taking the transpose, I'm getting 0 to 1, minus 1, minus 9, and minus 5 to 23 and 13. So this is the adjoint matrix that I'm getting. Now let us just substitute it down. A inverse is 1 by minus of 1 because my determinant is minus of 1. And let us just substitute the matrix that we have got as the adjoint. 0 minus 1 and 2, 2 minus of 9 and 23, 1 minus of 5 and 13. So what we need to just replace the negative signs. 0, 1, minus of 2, minus of 2, 9, and minus of 23, minus of 1, 5, and minus of 13. So this is the A inverse that we are getting, but because we have the system of linear equation as Ax is equal to B, what will be my x? A inverse of B. So now that we know that B is nothing but 11 minus of 5 and minus of 3, let us just multiply the two. I'm having the inverse matrix of A as this. And my B matrix is 11 minus of 5 and minus of 3. So if you will solve this down, you will get the value of x, y, z as 1, 2, and 3. The next one is that using the properties of determinants, we need to prove that the determinant is equivalent to the given expression. So it is definitely up to the approach that any of you might be using, that what if that we are making use of the column operation, taking down whatever the common elements are. So what if in this case we are taking A plus B plus C common from C1 and from C2, and then applying the necessary row operations. So if you will just have a look at the final step that we have, it is somewhat over here. Yes, now we can expand. So once we are getting anywhere that one of the rows is having the maximum number of zeros and 1, then we can just take away the determinant, right? So if we'll just solve this further down, you will get the required expression. So this question is tough in terms of what are the row operations and the column operations you might be using, and this is how we will do it. Now the next question is based on the supply function, that if P is 4 minus of 5x plus of x square, we need to find the producer's surplus. So because my P is equivalent to 4 minus of 5x plus of x square, let us just equate it to the price, which is 18, and solve the given expression. So I'm having x square minus of 5x minus of 14 is equal to 0. So if you will just solve this, you will get x as 7 or minus 2. So minus 2 is something that can never happen because the number of units can never be negative. So x is 7 over here. So by making the formula of my producer surplus, which is what? 7 into 18 minus the integral from 0 to 7 in my function, which is my P. So this is something we need to solve to get the final answer. So this is 126 minus of 4x minus of 5 of x squared divided by 2 plus x cubed by 3. So this is, I'm applying the limits now. This is from 0 to 7. So if you will just apply the limits, you will get 126 minus of 28, 343 by 3. So if you just solve this down, you will get 637 by 6, or approximately 106.17. So you can either leave it in fractions or in decimals. Both of them are right. Now we need to fit a straight line trend by the method of least square where the given data is this. So how many data points do I have? I'm having 6 data points. So let us just solve this down. So we are having the year. The first column is the year. So this is 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016. Now the production is the next thing, which is in terms of Y. This is a T. This is the year which we are considering. So this is 210, 225, 275, 220, 240, and 235. So we need to look at the origin, or because the number of data points that we have is 6. So we need to look at the average of 2013 and 2014. So what is the origin point coming down as? It is 2013.5. So what will be the value of xi is each t value subtracting it with 2013.5. So I'm getting minus of 2.5, minus of 1.5, minus of 0.5, 0.5, 1.5, and 2.5. Then the next column is for x square. So this is 6.25, 2.25, 0.25, and so on. And the final one is 6.25. And the last one is the product of xy. So this is 525 with a negative sign, minus of 337.5, minus of 137.5, 110, 360, and 587.5. So we are done with the construction of the table, but now we need to look at the values, that what is the value of my A? It is the summation of y by n. So the sum of the y column is coming out as 1405, and n is because it is 6. So the value of A is coming down as 234.16, and as B is considered, it is coming down as summation of xy divided by summation of x square. So the sum of the xy column is coming out as 57.5, and that of x square, it is 17.5. So if I were to consider the value of A, it is 234.16, and for B, it is coming out as 3.285. So the straight line that we have is y plus A plus B of t. So we can straight away just substitute the respective values of A and B that we got. Now the next question is that a man has an expensive square-shaped piece of golden board of side 36 centimeter. He wants to turn it into a box without cutting the top by cutting a square from each corner and folding it into flats. So what we need to look at is that the length and the breadth will be what? 36 minus of 2x, because we are cutting sides as in x from each corner. So this would be, the resultant length will be 36 minus of 2x, and the breadth will be around 36 minus 2x. And height will remain the same. So the volume is what? Yes. So because in the further question, we want an expression in terms of the volume will be 36 minus of 2x whole square multiplied by x. So what is this coming down as? 1296x minus of 144x square plus of 4 of x cube. So this is the expression that we have for the volume, and now we need to calculate the derivative. So this is minus of 288x plus of 12 of x square. So we know we have got the derivative as well. Now we need to look at the critical point. So if I'm equating this to 0, we are getting the expression as x square minus of 24x plus of 108 is equal to 0. Now looking down at the critical points, you will end up getting 18 and 6. But 18 is something which is discarded, because you will get, if you will to substitute it back in either of the length or the breadth, you will get it as 0, which is not possible. So x is coming down as 6. And if you were to just substitute this back into the volume function, you will get the volume as 3456 as the volume. So the critical point is 6 over here, and the maximum volume is 3, 4, 5, 6 unit cube, whatever the unit that we are considering. It is in centimeters, so it will be centimeter square, cube, sorry. Now the next one is 38. So it is a financial math based question. So Ramesh borrowed a home loan of 7 lakh from the bank at the interest rate of 12% for 30 years. So we need to write down the formula for EMI by reducing balance method. So this is P into I. If I'm looking at the formula of EMI, this is 1 minus of 1 plus I to the power of minus of N. So first part is done. So what is the value for P? P is 7 lakh, right? And I is the interest rate, which is 12%, and N is the number of installments. So this has to be multiplied with 12. So this is coming down as 360. So my N is 360. Now we need to calculate the value of EMI. Basically, what we need to do is substitute all the value. So I'm having 7 lakh multiplied by 12%. Now just remember that we need to convert it, divided with 12 as well. So this is 1 minus of, I'm not writing down the value, I'm just substituting this value over here, which is 0.0278, this whole value. And if you will just solve this down, you will get something around 7,200 in the first case. And now if it is returned to 20 years. So now the number of installments will be 20 into 12, which is 240. Now the values will be same, only the denominator is basically changing. So this is 7 lakh multiplied by 12 divided by 1200 minus of, this is 1 minus of 0.09180. So this is approximately coming down as 7,707.3. So this is the approximate value that we can write down. So as far as the questions are considered, they are calculative. So the paper is somewhat from easy to moderate. In terms of the questions were doable, but in terms of the calculations, it is somewhat moderate. Thank you so much.